The vast emptiness of the Kuiper Belt stretched before Captain Rogers as he stood at the observation deck of the research vessel Odyssey. The ship's quantum sensors hummed quietly, scanning the debris field that had caught their attention 3 days ago. Something about the arrangement of the asteroids seemed too perfect, too deliberate. "Captain, we're picking up unusual energy signatures from Sector 7, Lieutenant Rodriguez called from his station. His dark eyes remained fixed on the holographic display, fingers dancing across the interface as he refined the scan parameters. Rogers moved to his station, his boots making soft thuds against the deck plating. The readings were unlike anything he'd seen in his 15 years of deep space exploration. "Focus the main array on that sector. What's the composition analysis showing?" "That's the strange part, Captain," Rodriguez replied, bringing up a detailed spectral analysis. "The material doesn't match anything in our database. It's some kind of alloy, but the molecular structure is impossibly complex." Dr. Hannah Bishop, the ship's lead xenorchaeologist, joined them at the console. Her usual composed demeanor gave way to barely contained excitement as she studied the readings. "These patterns, they're not natural formations. This has to be artificial construction." Rogers felt a chill run down his spine. After centuries of searching the stars, humanity might have finally found concrete evidence of alien civilization. "How old?" "Preliminary dating suggests at least 50,000 years, Hannah replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "But the energy signature is still active. Whatever this is, it's still functioning after all this time." The bridge fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity had barely mastered interplanetary travel, and here was technology that had survived longer than human civilization itself. "Launch a probe," Rogers ordered. "Full spectrum analysis. Let's see what we're dealing with." The probe detached from the Odyssey's hull, its ion engines pulsing as it moved toward the anomaly. As it drew closer, the holographic displays filled with increasingly detailed scans. What they revealed made Hannah gasp. "It's a ship," she breathed, "or what's left of one. Look at the design. It's perfectly adapted for deep space travel. The engineering principles they're beyond anything we've ever conceived." Rogers was about to respond when a new alert blared across the bridge. Rodriguez's hands flew across his console. "Captain, massive energy spike from the artifact. It's activating." A brilliant purple light erupted from the ancient vessel, expanding in a geometric pattern that seemed to fold space itself. Within the light, something moved. Multiple contacts. Rodriguez shouted, "5. No, 7 vessels emerging from some kind of spatial rift. They're massive, Captain. Each one is at least twice the size of our largest battleship." The vessels were beautiful and terrifying. Sleek shapes of dark metal and pulsing energy, arranged in a perfect formation. Before Rogers could issue orders, every screen on the bridge flickered and changed. A figure appeared, humanoid but clearly alien, with iridescent scales and multiple pairs of eyes arranged in a symmetric pattern. When it spoke, its words were translated in real time by the ship's eye. "Children of Earth," the being said, its tone carrying both authority and disdain. "We are the Voratian Empire. Your discovery of our Sentinel outpost has accelerated our timetable. Your species will now be evaluated for assimilation or elimination. Prepare yourselves." Rogers straightened his spine, facing the transmission squarely. "This is Captain Rogers of the Earth research vessel Odyssey. We mean no harm and seek only peaceful contact." The alien's multiple eyes blinked in an unsettling pattern. "Peace is irrelevant. Evolution demands conflict. You have 1 Earth rotation to submit your species for processing. Resistance will result in immediate hostile action." The transmission cut off, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. Rogers turned to his crew, his voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "Send everything we have to Earth Command. Priority 1 transmission. We just became the front line in humanity's first interstellar war." As the Odyssey's quantum communicators beamed their warning toward Earth, The Voratian ships moved into attack formation. The game of evolution had entered a new phase, and humanity's time of peaceful isolation was over. The orbital shipyards above Mars blazed with activity, a constellation of welding sparks dancing against the red planet's backdrop. Admiral Marcus Wright stood at the observation deck of Control Station Alpha, his weathered hands clasped behind his back as he watched humanity's greatest achievement take shape. The quantum core integration is proceeding ahead of schedule, Dr. James Holbrook announced, approaching the Admiral. The chief engineer's typically pristine lab coat showed signs of the countless hours he'd spent in the construction base. The Voratian technology we salvaged from the Kuiper Belt discovery has revolutionized our understanding of particle physics. Marcus nodded, his eyes fixed on the massive framework below. The vessel under construction dwarfed everything humanity had built before, a testament to their desperate race against time. How long until the stellar vengeance is combat-ready? 3 weeks, if we maintain current acceleration protocols, James replied, bringing up a holographic display of the ship's systems. Though I must stress, Admiral, we're pushing the safety margins to their absolute limits. The Voratians won't give us the luxury of time, Marcus responded, his voice grave. Captain Rogers' last transmission confirmed they're mobilizing their entire battle fleet. We need this ship ready. A young officer hurried onto the deck, her uniform bearing the insignia of fleet intelligence. Admiral Wright, Lieutenant Commander Diana Foster reporting. We've decoded more of the Voratian transmissions. What have you found, Commander? Diana's expression was grim as she activated her datapad. Their invasion fleet is larger than we initially estimated. At least 30 capital ships, each carrying what we believe to be their equivalent of mechanized infantry. But there's something else. She paused, ensuring the information was encrypted. We've detected quantum signatures suggesting they're constructing some kind of massive portal near Saturn's orbit. James stepped closer to examine the data. These energy readings, they're planning to bring in reinforcements from their home system. If they establish a stable gateway, Earth won't stand a chance. Marcus finished. Dr. Holbrook, I need solutions. The stellar vengeance has to be more than just humanity's first star destroyer. It needs to be a game changer. James hesitated before speaking. There might be a way. The quantum core we salvaged. We've only been using it at 10% capacity because of containment concerns. If we modify the containment field geometry, we could potentially tap into its full power. And what happens if the containment fails? Diana asked. Best case, the ship tears itself apart. Worst case, we create a quantum singularity that swallows half the solar system. Marcus turned away from the window, facing his officers. Calculate the risks, develop safety protocols, but make it happen. Humanity doesn't survive this by playing it safe. The next 2 weeks passed in a blur of activity. The shipyards never slept, crews working in rotating shifts as the stellar vengeance took its final form. The ship was a masterpiece of human ingenuity and alien technology. 3 kilometers of advanced weaponry and quantum-enhanced systems integrated into a hull designed to outmaneuver anything the Voratians could field. James worked tirelessly with his engineering teams, pushing the quantum core's capabilities while developing failsafes to prevent catastrophic overload. Diana's intelligence unit provided constant updates on Voratian movements, each report making it clear that time was running out. Finally, on the day of launch, Admiral Wright stood on the bridge of the stellar vengeance. The ship hummed with power, its quantum core pulsing like a heartbeat through the deck plates. The crew, handpicked from every nation on Earth, manned their stations with determined focus. All systems online, James reported from engineering. Quantum core stable at 40% capacity. We can push it higher if needed. But, Admiral, Diana's voice cut through the bridge. Multiple quantum signatures detected. The Voratian fleet, they're beginning their advance. Their portal near Saturn, it's activating. Marcus took his command chair, his voice steady as he addressed the crew. This is the moment humanity has prepared for. We are not just fighting for our survival, we're fighting for our right to join the galactic community as equals. The Voratians thought they found an easy target, a primitive species they could conquer or destroy at will. Today, we proved them wrong. The Stellar Vengeance's engines flared to life, its massive form rising from the Martian shipyards like an avenging angel. As they set course for Saturn, Marcus knew the real test was just beginning. Humanity's future would be decided not just by their new technology, but by their courage, determination, and willingness to stand together against the storm that was coming. The void near Saturn's rings erupted with light as the Voratian portal stabilized, its purple-hued energy field stretching across space like a cosmic wound. Lieutenant Commander Diana Foster stood at her tactical station aboard the Stellar Vengeance, watching as her worst fears materialized before them. 53 enemy vessels detected, she reported, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. Their energy signatures are significantly higher than our initial encounters. These aren't scout ships. This is their main battle fleet. Admiral Wright's expression remained stoic as he studied the tactical display. Dr. Holbrook, status of our quantum core, holding at 60% capacity. James replied through the comm system. We can push it higher, but the containment field modifications are still untested at full power. The bridge crew watched as the Voratian fleet arranged itself into an attack formation that resembled a three-dimensional spear. At its tip, a massive vessel dwarfed even the Stellar Vengeance, its hull covered in what appeared to be living metal that shifted and pulsed with internal energy. All screens aboard the human vessel flickered as a transmission cut through their communications. The familiar multi-eyed visage of a Voratian commander appeared, but this one's scales bore intricate patterns that seemed to denote high rank. I am High Commander Crixthar of the Voratian Dominion Force, the alien announced. Your primitive attempts at resistance are noted, but futile. That you managed to construct a vessel of this size by reverse engineering our technology is impressive. Join us willingly, and your species may yet serve a purpose in our empire. Admiral Wright stood from his command chair. This is Admiral Marcus Wright of the United Earth Defense Force. We decline your offer. Humanity doesn't bow to threats. Not now. Not ever. The Voratian's multiple eyes narrowed. Then you have chosen extinction. The transmission cut off abruptly. Enemy fleet is powering weapons, Diana reported. They're launching fighter squadrons, hundreds of them. Marcus's voice carried across the bridge with unwavering authority. Battle stations. Deploy our drone swarms. Dr. Holbrook, prepare to execute Protocol Omega on my mark. The space between the fleets erupted into chaos as the first salvos were fired. The Stellar Vengeance's advanced point defense systems engage, creating a web of intercepting fire that shredded the first wave of Voratian fighters. But more kept coming. Their fighters are adapting to our targeting patterns, Diana called out. They're learning our defense algorithms in real time. James's voice crackled through the comm. Admiral, the quantum core is showing unusual readings. The Voratian weapons fire. It's not just damaging our shields, it's creating quantum resonance patterns. They're trying to destabilize our core. A massive blast rocked the ship as one of the Voratian cruisers scored a direct hit. Emergency force fields activated as hull breaches were detected on multiple decks. Return fire, all batteries, Marcus ordered. Target their lead vessels. James, I need that core at full power. Now. Sir, if we push it to maximum, we might not be able to contain it, James warned. If we don't, there won't be an Earth left to save, Marcus responded. Do it. The quantum core's hum rose to a fever pitch as James initiated the power surge. The Stellar Vengeance's weapons responded with devastating effect, their enhanced energy beams cutting through Voratian shields like they weren't there. Diana's fingers flew across her tactical console, coordinating the attack. Their formation is breaking up. The quantum-enhanced weapons are overwhelming their defensive systems. But the Voratians weren't finished. Their flagship, under Crixthar's command, began a maneuver that defied conventional space combat tactics. It dove straight for the stellar vengeance, its living metal hull reconfiguring into what appeared to be one massive weapon. "They're channeling their entire fleet's power through their flagship," James reported, his voice tight with concern. "If that hits us, all power to forward shields." Marcus commanded, "Prepare for impact." The collision of energies created a blast that momentarily outshone Saturn's rings. The stellar vengeance's quantum core screamed in protest as conflicting forces threatened to tear reality itself apart. And in that moment, something unexpected happened. The interaction between human and Voratian quantum technologies created a cascade effect that neither side had anticipated. A temporal shockwave erupted from the point of impact, freezing half the Voratian fleet in what appeared to be localized time stasis. "The quantum resonance," James exclaimed. "It's creating some kind of temporal feedback loop. Their own weapons are being used against them." Diana saw their opportunity. "Admiral, we have a clear shot at their portal generator. One hit with our main gun at full power." "Take it," Marcus ordered without hesitation. The stellar vengeance's main quantum cannon fired, its beam amplified by the cascading temporal effects. The shot struck the Voratian portal with devastating accuracy, causing a chain reaction that began to collapse the massive structure. High Commander Krixthar's voice cut through their comms one final time, tinged with something that sounded almost like respect. Perhaps we underestimated your species' potential. This is not over, humans. You have won a battle, but the Dominion spans galaxies. We will return." The remaining Voratian ships, including their flagship, began emergency quantum jumps away from the battlefield, leaving their time-locked comrades behind. As the enemy fleet retreated, the human crew of the Stellar Vengeance stood in awe of what they had accomplished. But Admiral Wright knew this was only the beginning. "Send word to Earth Command. The Voratians have been driven back, but we need to prepare. They'll be back, and next time, they'll be ready for us. Humanity needs to be ready too." 3 months after the Battle of Saturn, Earth had changed more than it had in the previous century. The orbital shipyards above Mars now produced vessels incorporating the quantum technology pioneered by the Stellar Vengeance. Every nation had united under the banner of the United Earth Defense Force, recognizing that humanity's survival depended on their cooperation. Admiral Wright stood in the newly constructed Quantum Command Center beneath the Himalayas, watching as holographic displays tracked the construction of Earth's defensive grid. Dr. James Holbrook and Lieutenant Commander Diana Foster worked at nearby stations, their expertise now focused on preparing humanity for the inevitable return of the Voratian fleet. "The quantum sensor network is online," Diana reported, manipulating a 3D display of the solar system. "We'll have advance warning if they try to open another portal anywhere within our system." James looked up from his calculations. "The breakthroughs we've made studying the time-locked Voratian ships have been extraordinary. They're living metal technology. We're beginning to understand how it works. The applications go beyond just military use." Before Marcus could respond, every alarm in the facility activated simultaneously. Diana's hands flew across her console. Multiple quantum signatures detected. "They're back, and they've brought reinforcements." The holographic display filled with red indicators as Voratian ships emerged from quantum space at strategic points throughout the solar system. At their center, a vessel twice the size of their previous flagship materialized. "This is High Overlord Zax Krell of the Voratian Dominion." A new voice boomed through their communications. "Your resistance has earned our full attention. The time for evaluation is over. Surrender or face extinction." Marcus straightened his uniform, a small smile playing at his lips. "You know, 3 months ago that might have worried us. Diana, show them what humanity has been up to." Diana activated the defense grid. Across the solar system, quantum generators hidden in asteroid fields and planetary rings hummed to life. Space itself seemed to ripple as hundreds of human vessels emerged from carefully hidden quantum pockets, a fleet that had been built and trained in secret, preparing for this moment. The Stellar Vengeance, now upgraded with discoveries from their previous encounter, took point position. James's voice came through clear on the command channel. Quantum core modifications are holding steady. All ships report ready, Admiral. This is Admiral Wright to all Earth forces. Marcus broadcast. The Voracians thought they could intimidate us into submission. They thought we were primitive, weak, unworthy of our place among the stars. Today, we prove that humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our weapons. It's our unwavering spirit and our ability to stand together in the face of any threat. All ships, battle formations. Show them what humanity is truly capable of. The battle that followed would be remembered for generations as the moment humanity announced its presence to the galaxy. The quantum defense grid activated, creating corridors of distorted space that trapped and divided the Voratian fleet. Earth's ships, moving in perfect coordination, executed battle plans that combined human tactical innovation with their newly mastered quantum technology. High Overlord Zach Skrell's voice carried tones of disbelief as his forces were systematically outmaneuvered. Impossible. How could you have advanced so quickly? You should have done your research, Marcus replied as the Stellar Vengeance led a precision strike against the Voratian command ship. Humanity's greatest advances have always come in response to challenges. You didn't find a primitive species to conquer. You found one that was ready to take its place among the stars. The battle reached its climax as the combined human fleet executed a maneuver that would have been impossible months ago. A synchronized quantum jump that positioned them in a sphere around the remaining Voratian ships. The trap was complete. Your choice, High Overlord, Marcus offered. Retreat and acknowledge Earth's sovereignty, or find out just how much more we've learned about quantum warfare. For the first time in their recorded history, the Voratian Dominion retreated not just from a battle, but from an entire sector of space. As their ships vanished into quantum space, they left behind a message. The galaxy will hear of this. Earth is no longer a target for conquest. It is a power to be reckoned with. In the aftermath, as humanity began to explore its new capabilities and role in the galactic community, Admiral Wright stood again at the observation deck of the Stellar Vengeance. Diana and James joined him, watching as ships from Earth's combined fleet conducted quantum jump exercises near Jupiter. We've received signals from 3 other civilizations requesting diplomatic contact, Diana reported. It seems our victory over the Voratians has attracted attention. James nodded. The quantum technology we've developed, it's opening doors we never imagined. We're beginning to understand principles that will let us explore not just our galaxy, but others. Marcus smiled, thinking of how far they'd come since Captain Rogers' first encounter in the Kuiper Belt. This was never just about survival. It was about proving that humanity deserves its place among the stars. We didn't just defend Earth. We opened the door to our future. As the sun set on this new era of human history, ships of the United Earth Defense Force stood watch over their home world, ready to face whatever challenges the galaxy might bring. Humanity had learned its most important lesson. The stars were not a barrier to overcome, but a frontier to explore, and their greatest adventures were just beginning.